My name is Kayla Reynolds. I'm 29 years old, and 5 years ago my family erased me like a chalk mark wiped off a board. No warning, no explanation, no softness, just gone. Like I was a temporary mistake they finally fixed. But the thing about memories is, they cling to you, even when the people attached to them let go. And now, standing in the kitchen I grew up in, the air feels heavier, thicker, like the walls remember everything they tried to bury. The burgers on the pan sizzle louder than the voices around me, echoing the kind of noise you hear right before a storm hits. Dad sits in his old chair in the living room, the same one with the ripped left armrest he always promised to fix, but never did. His eyes are glued to the baseball game, jaw tight, anger ready to explode at a strike, a miss, or even silence. He's always been that way, more present for the boys on the screen than for the daughter standing right behind him. Mom moves around the table like she's searching for something she never find. Her hands shake, not from age, but from the weight of decisions she never had the courage to undo. She wipes the same spot on the counter over and over, as if cleaning could erase guilt. And Brandon, my brother, sits at the table bragging about his online toy store. He laughs loud, too loud, like he's forcing the room to revolve around him. $2,000 this week, he says, like he built that success alone. Like he didn't once borrow my laptop, my savings, my time, and my faith. They speak as if this house is whole, as if I never left, or maybe as if I never mattered. Their words blend with the popping oil, forming a soundtrack I know too well, the sound of being unseen. I flip the burgers, breathe through the smoke, and wonder if they can feel the old version of me fading. Because I'm not the Kayla they remember. I'm not the girl who apologized for existing. I'm not the daughter who begged for scraps of affection. I left that version of me buried somewhere between motel rooms and late shifts. I remember the night everything changed. The rain outside slammed against the windows so hard it sounded like fists demanding to be let in. The living room smelled like stale beer and old regrets. I sat across from Dad, my hands trembling as I tried to explain the truth, my truth. I told them I was struggling, drowning, holding on to pieces of myself that were slipping through my fingers. I asked for help, for understanding, for anything. But instead, Dad said I was dramatic. Mom whispered I was ungrateful. And Brandon laughed, a long, cruel laugh that still echoes in my chest, before saying, "You're too much work, Kayla." Their words hit harder than any storm. And in that moment, I saw their truth. I was the burden they never admitted to carrying. I went to sleep that night with tears soaking the pillow, wishing for even one person to stand up for me. The next morning, my phone buzzed with the message that changed everything. One line. 7 words. Don't come home again. It's better this way. My hands shook as I read it. Not because they pushed me out, but because it was so easy for them. I packed a bag in silence, left a house filled with ghosts, and walked into a world where no one knew my name. I spent months drifting through nothingness. Cheap motels with buzzing lights. Jobs that paid just enough to survive. Nights where I cried into thin pillows, wondering how a family could forget a daughter so fast. But slowly, painfully, I rebuilt myself. I worked 2 jobs. Then 3. Bought a used car with a broken radio. Rented a tiny room over a laundromat where the walls were thin and the nights smelled like detergent. I learned to find comfort in the small things, sunlight through cracked blinds, hot coffee on cold mornings, the silence that didn't judge me. I learned to survive, to grow, to breathe without their approval. And then, one day I woke up and realized I wasn't surviving anymore. I was becoming someone. Someone stronger. Someone sharper. Someone who didn't need them. But healing doesn't erase memories. It just teaches you how to carry them without bleeding. And that's why I'm here. Back in this kitchen. Back in the place that broke me. Not to beg. Not to cry. Not to ask why. I'm here to see the ghosts up close. To stand in front of the people who destroyed me and realize they no longer control my heartbeat. The room feels smaller than I remembered. Their voices feel weaker. The people who once towered over my life now seem so Ordinary. Brandon keeps talking about his business like he didn't steal from me. Mom keeps avoiding my eyes like I'm a mirror she doesn't want to look into. Dad keeps shouting at the TV like anger is the only language he knows. I watch them closely. Every expression. Every twitch. Every lie wrapped in casual conversation. And I wonder, do they remember what they did? Do they feel the weight of it? Or did they rewrite the story to make themselves the victims? I step closer to the stove, breathing in the thick, greasy air. The heat rises, wrapping around me, reminding me of all the nights I cooked for this family. Birthdays, holidays, days when Mom was too tired and Dad was too drunk. I was always the one holding things together, the glue no one noticed until it was gone. But now, I'm the crack in their foundation. The return they didn't expect. The truth they can't escape. The minutes pass slowly, stretching like shadows at sunset. I think about the 5 years I lost. The friendships I couldn't keep. The dreams I put on hold. The tears I swallowed. The strength I earned. I think about the nights I stared at the ceiling, imagining what I would say if I ever came back. But now that I'm here, the words don't matter. Because the real power isn't in what I say. It's in the fact that I showed up. Whole, unbroken, alive. I glance at Brandon again, watching him wave his hands dramatically as he tells another story. His voice is louder than everyone's, but it always has been. He loves attention. Needs it. Thrives on it. But for the first time ever, he can't drown me out. Mom finally sits, her shoulders slumped, eyes tired. She looks older. Not because of age, but because guilt weathers people faster than years. Dad slams his fist on the armrest as the TV announcer shouts. I see the veins in his neck bulge, the same way they used to when he yelled at me for mistakes I didn't make. But now, his anger doesn't touch me. It doesn't even reach me. Because I've learned something they never taught me. My worth doesn't depend on their ability to see it. And then slowly, as if the room itself exhales, a thought settles into my mind. A truth sharper than any blade. They didn't break me. They revealed me. They stripped away the weakness, the fear, the need for approval. They pushed me into darkness, but I learned to build light from the scraps they left. I think about all the steps that led me here. Every mile, every tear, every moment I wanted to quit. And I realize I came back not for them, but for me. To reclaim the pieces of myself scattered in this house. To walk through the fire without burning. To turn the past into something powerful. Something unstoppable. Something they can never erase again. This isn't just a return. It's a rebirth. A reckoning. A beginning. My beginning. And as the clock ticks, as their voices fade, as my heart steadies, I know exactly what this moment is. It's the first chapter of the Revenge Chronicles. And trust me, this story is just getting started.